So by way of review, guys, we said that the reason why we do financial statements analysis is because we want to use whatever whatever inference we get here, whatever insights we get here, to be used for decision making. That's the bottom line. We do not compute ratios. We do not compute this common size statement or horizontal analysis or year-on-year analysis just for the sake of computation. Hindi. The reason why we compute these measures, these metrics, is that we would want to better understand or appreciate the performance of the firm and use it to come up with strategies or policies that will better improve the performance of the firm, that will better maximize the shareholder value. So just like what we were looking at last time in common size statement natin, for example, we can see here that in 2020, there was really a marked deterioration as far as operating performance is concerned. Naging 99 centavos, 99.7 centavos ang operating cost per 1 peso of sales. Wala nang, nothing will remain. No? Only just 0.3 yan, 0.003 cents na lang. No? 0.003 per peso of sales. So that means it will not be able to cover interest expense or other expenses. Kung meron pa, although tapos na yung operating expense. No? That's why we got a profit margin of 0.016, negative 0.016, which means that for every 1 peso of sales, we were losing out 1.6 centavos. Okay? Lugi pa yung company. Okay? So this common size statement, whether it's used in the income statement or the balance sheet, the purpose is to give insights on how the company has performed, not only on a particular year, but over the years. Diba? Kasi sabi natin, yung mga ratios na to, yung mga metrics na to, it's not used in isolation. We don't benefit so much if we just look at it in isolation or individually. Kailangan this has to be taken in the whole context. No? And it has to be benchmarked not only on a specific year, but it's benchmarked against time, okay, the past years, and also we know that it has to be benchmarked against their direct competitors. And if possible, it should be benchmarking up. When we say benchmark up, we should compare it to their better performing competitors, okay, not necessarily benchmarking down. Okay, so last time we computed again for these measures and OWC, okay, TOC, net investment. Okay, so just a quick review, guys. NOWC is operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. And then TOC is simply adding whatever your net operating working capital is to your net fixed assets. Then we were able to determine the net investments, which we just subtract how much was the beginning TOC, okay, subtract it from the ending TOC. And we can see here that the company really invested a huge amount, relatively a huge amount in 2020 in TOC, even bigger than 2021. Okay, however, we said that despite this investment in TOC, the company did not fare well, did not perform well in as far as operations is concerned. Kasi net loss nga sila eh. Diba? Net loss sila. So it means that if we can see here, guys, sales increased relative to 2019, okay, 70%. However, the cost of goods sold had a 73.9%. Okay, other expenses more than doubled. Okay, depreciation, that's understandable kasi nag-invest ng malaki sa property, plant, and equipment. Okay, so EBIT went down by 91.7% compared to 2019. 209 dito, tapos yung EBIT 17,440 na lang. So that it was a big decrease in terms of operating profit. Okay, so hence we computed for the operating profit. Sabi natin ang operating profit, we do not subtract interest expense kasi hindi yan hindi yan role ng hindi yan role ng operations. Okay? And we can see here that operating profit really was down in 2020 compared to 2019 and 2021 also. So the free cash flow, we said, could be negative, and being negative does not necessarily equate to poor performance. It can, of course, it can. So we just don't take the value of free cash flow at face value. We have to dig deeper and see what's the cause of these negative figures. Okay. Now for 2020, it was negative largely because of the huge investment in TOC. Well, that's good. Nothing wrong with that. However, it was also partly due, the large negative was partly due to the very poor operating profit. So in that case, guys, we can say that it's partly good, okay? Partly good and partly bad. Good in the sense that the company was loading up on its operating capital, this one. However, bad because the operating performance was it was dismally low compared to 2021. Okay, so the negative free cash flow here, it's a double-edged sword. It was both positive, it was both good and bad at the same time. Okay, then we need to measure ROIC in order to determine if the company is being able to generate value for their shareholders. And we say that the decision rule here is that if the ROIC is greater than the weighted average cost of capital, which for this company was 10%, then value was being created. In 2021, ROIC was 13.4%. And we said that the formula for ROIC is just the operating profit divided by, okay, how much was the operating capital provided for to the management. But in 2020, okay, value was destroyed because the ROIC was only not even 1%. No, so the performance in terms of return on invested capital was way higher in 2021 compared to 2020. So 2020 seems to be a very poor year for the company. Now in MVA, guys, we just compare the market capitalization. Okay, how much is the current value of equity in the market now? And that's computed by multiplying the stock price. How much is the fair value of the stock now? Multiply that by the number of shares outstanding. Okay, and we can see here that the market value added for 2021 really far outweighed the market value added in 2020, although they were both positive. Okay, now for the EVA, economic value added, there are two ways to compute for this. Either we use the ROIC and net it against WACC, or we use the NOPAT. In both cases, you'll have the same answer. So in 2021, value was created by virtue of the positive EVA. However, value was destroyed in 2020. So we just net the ROIC with the WACC and multiply that with the TOC. While using the NOPAT, we subtract from the NOPAT the charge to capital. This is what we call the charge to capital. Now take note that both of these formulas make use of WACC and TOC beginning. Okay? Iba nga lang yung paggamit nila, no? But it's still the same, because if we distribute this, okay, distribute the TOC here, it should be ROIC times TOC, and this is also WACC times TOC. Okay, so the same as TOC times WACC here. The only difference is that it's ROIC times TOC. Okay. All right. So with that, guys, we now go to the ratios, the 5 general classifications of ratios. Okay, so we have actually answered this one, guys. But this one, guys, I leave that to you to do, the statement of retained earnings and the statement of cash flows. Okay, I hope you also practiced on this. Okay, the reason why I'm not showing this is because we have already learned how to construct a statement of cash flows, and you can easily already construct here the statement of cash flows. Okay, check sandali ha. Okay, yung date mamaya na ha. Okay. So let's now go to the different ratios, guys. Now, these are the next set of questions that we're going to answer. Why are ratios helpful? We said that ratios are used in order to evaluate the company's performance and use whatever insights we can get out of that in order to make sound financial decisions. So that's very important as far as the growth and the profitability of the firm is concerned. Okay, what are the 5 major categories of ratios? Okay, so the 5 major categories you can find here. Okay, here guys. Ito. So L here stands for liquidity, AM stands for asset management, or that's also efficiency ratios. DR is debt ratio, PR is profitability ratio, and MV are market value ratios. There are other types of ratios, but these are the most important ones, most common ones. Okay, so the 5 types are liquidity. Liquidity measures, guys, the capability of the company to finance its assets through cash. So pag sinabi nating liquid, the company has available cash at its disposal for whatever use it needs, no? Whether to pay off its current obligations, yun ang liquidity. Company is liquid if it's capable of paying its obligations. Okay? AM is asset management or efficiency ratios. This is a measure of how the company is able to utilize its assets, optimize its use in order to make the company more profitable. So those are the asset management ratio. Medyo marami siya, no? DR, these are your leverage ratios or your debt ratio. Okay? How much debt does the company have in proportion to its equity? Okay? Is the company already highly leveraged? Okay? Is the company able to, for example, itong times interest earned, no? Debt ratio yan. Ang formula niyan, EBIT over interest expense. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, for every peso of expense, magkano, how much EBIT does the company have in order to service its interest expense? So the higher the tie, the times interest earned, the better. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, the company has sufficient funds in order to pay its interest expense. Okay, also EBITDA coverage, another form of capability to pay its obligations, yung mga fixed charges like interest, okay, principal and lease. Then PR, guys, profitability ratio. This measures the profitability of the firm. Okay, so you have here operating margin, profit margin, etc. So we're going to look at this later on, no? And then market value ratios. Okay, it compares the market capitalization of the company compared to the book value. No? Importante din tong MV ratios na to. Okay, and then we will go to the DuPont ratio. Okay. Now, yung DuPont, guys, it was initiated by a company, si DuPont, no? Kasi dati, before, what was most important as a measure was ROE, return on equity. Remember, ito, how much profitability is being generated for the shareholders, kasi equity to eh, no? Okay. Now, what DuPont did was to what's the proper term for that? Was to split this into several other measures. Okay? Kaya yung ROE naging profit margin, naging TATO, at saka financial leverage multiplier. Ibig sabihin, guys, si ROE can be seen as having 3 components: profit margin, TATO, and financial leverage multiplier. So what are we saying here? How do we increase ROE? Increase ROE by increasing PM, Profit margin by increasing TATO, by increasing financial leverage multiplier. Okay, yun ang concept nito. So this is what we call the three-way DuPont. Okay, merong five-way din. Ibig sabihin, five ratios yung tinitingnan dyan. 5 different ratios. Okay? So, but as I said before, guys, may mga measures na mas sabihin natin mas robust kaysa sa ROE. But nevertheless, guys, we're still going to discuss that because we still need this DuPont analysis in many discussions. Okay, and lastly, Altman-Z. Okay, si Altman-Z, guys, is used in order to predict using ratios whether a company will become bankrupt or not. Okay, very interesting, no? Itong Altman-Z used to predict bankruptcy of a business. Okay, we're going to look at that later on or when we get to that. Now, just a reminder, guys, your long quiz will be on Wednesday. So whatever we finish on Monday, that will be the coverage. But I'm sure we'll be able to cover this. So that will be modules 1 and 2. So our long quiz will be on Wednesday. It will be from class time 6 to 7:30, 1.5 hours. Okay, so let's now go to our ratios. And let's first go to liquidity. We said that liquidity measures the capability of the firm to pay its current obligations. No? It's utang, yung mga utang niya, particularly current liabilities. So the formula, the first ratio that we're going to look at is current ratio. Ang current ratio, guys, ang formula lang yan, current assets over current liabilities. So let's compute for that. Our current assets is, current assets natin sa balance sheet, current assets divided by your current liabilities. This one is your current liabilities. Okay, there, 2.6. And then we can drag this. Okay, there. Okay, so what does this indicate? 2.6. It means, again, how do we give a basic definition to the ratio? We say that for every, kasi ratio yan, ano? So let me just access my digital pen. Itong 2.6 na to, what does that mean? That can be read as 2.6 over 1. Where your 1 is your current liability and your 2.6 is your current asset. So, ibig sabihin yan, for every 1 peso of current liability, the company has 2.6 pesos of current assets to pay its obligations. Okay? Is that good or bad? We cannot answer that. No? Ang alam lang natin, merong 2.6 pesos yung company para bayaran yung current liability niya. Okay? In terms of that, guys, ang conclusion natin, kaya mabayaran ng company. But again, guys, we don't stop there kasi, no? Before we come up with those insights, we have to compare first with the previous years. So masasabi natin na nung 2020, medyo hindi siya naging capable, no, to pay its obligation. Something really happened in 2020. Bumagsak yung current ratio niya. Tapos compared to 2019 nga, mas pangit pa si 2020. Although naka-recover naman siya nung 2021. So over time, guys, medyo erratic yung performance ni XYZ company, no? And if we compare that to the industry, yung 2021 figures industry, 2.7. So mas mataas, guys, yung average performance ng industry kaysa kay XYZ kasi they're more liquid in the sense that mas kaya nila magbayad dun sa mga current liabilities nila. They're more capable of paying their current liabilities by virtue of the higher current ratio. Okay? Is that clear, guys? Yung current ratio? Any questions so far? Paki-chat naman, please, kung clear yung discussion natin sa current ratio. Kindly chat, please, kung clear siya. I hope everyone will respond to my query. Okay, more responses, please, guys. Hindi pa tayo nakaka 50% sa responses. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate. So, yeah, salamat ha. Okay, mukhang clear naman. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so of course, you know that we can create a spark line here. But why don't we do that? So, pwede natin i-highlight lahat kung meron man. No? Highlight, then insert. Okay, let's put our column na lang. Column. Okay, and then our data is this one. Okay, and then I'll just put a, okay, lagyan ko na lang ng borders. Okay, all right. Because you can still modify this, no? Okay, so another liquidity ratio, guys, is your quick ratio. So si quick ratio, mas stricto na measure to. Kasi hindi lahat ng current assets sinasama niya. Pag sinabi natin quick ratio, andito guys yung formula, no? It's only cash plus marketable securities plus receivables. Only the most liquid assets. Okay? Only the most liquid assets kasi cash yun, marketable securities and receivables. So let's do that, guys. I-sum up natin yung, we're summing up the cash, short-term investments, and AR. No? Hindi natin sinasama si inventories. Kasi si inventories medyo matagal pa yan maging ma-convert to cash, no? Kaya nga quick, yung pinakamabilis ma-convert to cash. Of course, cash na yan. Short-term investments, very easy to convert to cash. Kasi may market sa short-term investments. Treasury bills, no? Madaling ibenta yan sa market. And then receivables, nabenta na yan, collection na lang yan. No? Ang inventories, hindi pa natin sigurado. Okay, so malitong no? We have to divide it by the sum. Okay, we have to divide it by the current liabilities. Current liabilities, yan. There. Okay, so tingnan nyo, mas strict yung quick ratio, no? There. Okay? So we can see here, guys, that the industry average is better than how we're performing. Lalo na noong 2020, guys, 0.5 lang. Ibig sabihin, kunyari maging June na yung current liabilities ngayon, tapos hindi natin mako-convert pa si inventory kasi ginagawa pa lang yan, then hindi tayo makakabayad. Kasi ang available lang natin, assuming na mako-convert kagad natin si receivables, we only have 50 centavos for every 1 peso of current liability na magiging due, no? Magmamature. Ito, 0.9, at least malapit-lapit na, no? It can cover almost yung current liabilities natin. Sa industry, nasa nasa balance lang siya, no? Okay. Okay, so in fact, meron pang isang ratio dyan. Lagay natin dito, guys, no? Insert natin. Liquidity din yun, no? Insert na lang natin. It's your cash ratio. Ito, mas strict to. Kasi si cash lang talaga. How much cash? Cash lang, okay, divided by your total liabilities. Okay, dito kailangan pa ng isang decimal place. 0.01. Okay? So very strict na measure tong cash ratio. Halos pareho lang kasi okay. Pag in-increase natin decimal place, medyo makikita natin yung discrepancy. All right. Now we go now to the okay. Let me pause for a while. My question si Angeline. Yes, Angeline.
I get yung formula for the cash ratio.
Okay, sige. Ang cash ratio natin is simply your cash divided by your current liabilities. And then we just increase the decimal place kasi hindi niya na, pag isang decimal place lang, hindi na nare-reflect, no? Nag-0.0, nagpo-0.0 lang siya.
Okay, sir, thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Angeline. Okay, now we go, guys, to this, our asset management ratios. Okay, Itong asset management ratios, very important to because they measure the efficiency of the firm in as far as utilizing its assets. Okay, let's start with this one, ITO, inventory turnover. Ano ibig sabihin ng inventory turnover? Dadagdag muna ako ha. Ang ibig sabihin guys, ang inventory turnover is the number of times. Okay, let me illustrate that. No, inventory turnover. Okay, sorry, review. Okay. Okay. Let's start beginning of the period. No, hindi natin January 1. Okay, hanggang December 31. What's the meaning of inventory turnover? Ibig sabihin niyan, okay, bibili ng raw materials, okay, co-convert into finished goods, ibebenta, okay, ibebenta. Okay, so from the buying of the raw materials, manufacturing it, and then selling it, that's your inventory turnover. Ibig sabihin, kung kunyari ganyan yung yung cycle nila, measure natin ha. Isa, tapos dalawa, tapos tatlo, tapos apat. Sabi natin mga 4.5. 4.5, guys. That's the number of times in a year a company is able to buy raw materials, convert to finished product, and then sell. Inventory, turnover, no? Turnover ng inventory hanggang mabenta. Tapos buy ulit ng raw materials, convert to finished product, sell. Buy raw materials, convert to finished product, sell. So dito, once, one time, pangalawa to, pangatlo, pang-apat, okay? So sabihin natin pang-apat at kalahati. So if the inventory turnover is 4.5 times, it means that a company is able to turn over its inventory 4.5 times a year. Okay? Therefore, guys, what do you think? The higher the ITO is, the better? Is that a safe assumption? The higher the ITO, the better it is for the company. Kindly chat, please. Or you can unmute yourself, guys. Anong comment nyo doon? Tama ba yun? Ang sinabi ko? The higher, the better ba yan? Yes, Angeline? Why yes?
Because it means that they're easy to sold out their products.
Yes, di ba? Kasi pag more times a year nila nabebenta, ibig sabihin, mas marami silang sales na nag-generate. So, for example, this company only has an inventory turnover of 4.5 times versus another company with 8 times no, inventory turnover. Sino mas magaling dun? Yung company na, assuming they belong to the same industry, syempre, mas magaling yung 8 times. Kasi walang beses nila sa isang taon na nagagawa yung proseso na yun. No? It takes them, they're able to do that process 8 times a year as compared to this company which is only able to do it 4.5 times a year. So, indeed, the higher the inventory turnover, the better it is. The better is the performance of the firm. Okay? So let's... Saan yan? Okay, let's compute for that, guys. Inventory turnover. The inventory turnover is computed using cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. Now, sometimes you'll see formulas like this. Cost of goods sold divided by inventory beginning. Parang yung sa ano natin, guys, yung sa NOPAT natin, sometimes you'll see this, no? Control 1, I'll make it as a subscript. There. So, sometimes people use cost of goods sold over inventory beginning. Sometimes, cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. Okay? For our purposes now, we'll just use the average inventory. So, this is equal to how much is the cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold natin for 2021, it is 5.8 and then divide it by the average the average of our inventory, okay? Inventory average natin is this one, beginning, beginning and ending. No? Enter. Okay. Yan, guys. So it's the cost of goods sold divided by the beginning and the ending inventory. So we can copy this formula to the right. There. Okay. Now, surprisingly, guys, mas mataas pa yung ano, no? Mas mataas yung inventory turnover ng 2020 compared to 2021 and 2019. Okay? So they were being able to sell more, and yet, guys, and yet hindi sila naging profitable, ano? Ang dami talagang pwede nating i-question eh. Noong 2020, bakit ganun? Despite the fact that they were turning over their inventory 5 times a year, compared to 2021, bumagal nga sila, no? 3.9 times lang. Compared to 2019, si 2019, 4 times. Ang pinakapangit si 2021, no? Okay? Lowest inventory turnover. Okay? So, that begs the question, and yet, bakit mabilis nyo nga itin-turn over yung inventory nyo? Bakit bakit still net loss, no? Well, that can be attributable talaga sa mga costs. Baka nagkaroon ng maraming wastage, we're just surmising, no? Kasi hindi naman natin alam talaga kung ano nangyari dito sa company, no? Okay, how about R2? Ito naman R2, guys. If inventory turnover counts how many times a year the company is able to buy raw materials, produce their goods, and then sell, yung R2 naman, okay, ang R2 naman, guys, so lagyan natin dito R2, receivables turnover or accounts receivables turnover. Okay, so from selling, okay, so di ba nabenta na? Yung ITO hanggang nabenta na eh. Pagkabenta, guys, up to how many times nako-collect yung receivables? Collect. Pagkabenta, collect 3, 4, 5, 6. Kunyari 6 times. So 6 times, guys, in this case, 6x is the number of times the company is able to, from sales to collection. Yung bilis na pag-collecta nila. So in the same manner as in ITO, the higher the better. Ganon din si R2. The higher the better. Kasi pag mas maraming beses sila nakakakolekta, ibig sabihin nun, mas mabilis yung velocity ng cash. Benta, collect. Pagkabenta, collect na. Pagkabenta, collect na. Okay? All right. Yung third naman, guys, complete muna natin yung yung R2. So this is sales divided by accounts receivable. So sales divided by average ng AR natin, no? Average ng accounts receivable, which is this 2. Average ng beginning, ito kasi beginning at saka ending. No? Okay, enter. There, 9.3 times, guys. 9.3 times. Okay. Copy the right natin. Now, kita natin, guys, yung ITO natin, we pale in comparison to the industry average, no? Okay, kung direct competitor natin yan, yung 6.1 na yan, naku, talong-talo tayo, no? Kasi sila, 6.1 times a year nila nagagawa yung proseso ng pagbenta. Buy raw materials, convert to finished goods, and then sell. Buy raw materials up to selling 6.1 times. Tayo ng 2021, 3.9 lang. So this is 2021, ha? 2021 for the industry. Okay. Now, ito naman APTO, no? APTO, guys, is accounts payable turnover. Okay? So let's again interpret what this is. Ano yung APTO? Okay, dito ilalagay sa ilalim. APTO is, okay, anyone can guess, guys? APTO? Bili ng raw material. Yes? Yes? Who wants to answer? Meron ba? Meron? Sino yun? Walang Abigail. Okay, sige. So, ano yung APTO, guys? Bili ng raw materials. Bili tayo ng raw materials. Okay, sandali. Asa na yung aking... Bili ng raw materials, on account, bayad. Bili ng raw materials, bayad. Bili ng raw materials on account, utang muna, tapos bayad. Utang, tas bayad. Utang, tas bayad. Kunyari, example, kunyari 4 times a year to. No? Yun yung up to payables turnover or accounts payable turnover. How many times a year does the company buy raw materials and then pay their obligation? Okay, ito medyo tricky, guys. Kasi ano to, the higher the better? What do you think, guys? The higher the better ba yan? Okay. Not necessarily, no? Kasi pwedeng ano yan, pwedeng mas mababa. Pag mas mababa yan, ano ibig sabihin yan? Kunyari 3 times lang. 1, 2, example lang 3. Let's assume na 3 times. Ibig sabihin yan, guys, the implication is that it takes longer for the company to pay its trade payables. One possible implication of that is that it has a longer term with the company. Mas binibigyan siya ng ng longer term. Okay? Yung mga malalaking companies, okay, tapos they have suppliers na maliliit lang, usually ganito. Kasi sasabihin ng malaking company, okay, you have to give us a credit line of 90 days if you want to do business with us. Kasi maliit na company gustong maging part of their customer. Parang bragging rights nila yon. Bragging rights nila, customer namin si ganito malaking company. Even if matagal sila bago bayaran. No? Okay, mamaya titingnan natin yan. So yung up to, it's quite tricky to interpret. No? Up to, not necessarily na the higher the better. In fact, pwede siyang the lower the better. Sa perspective ng company, ibig sabihin nun, hindi siya kagad nagbabayad. No? Ibig sabihin, yung term niya, mas mahaba. So that's the implication of that. Okay, so let's compute for the up to, and it's equal to the cost of goods sold over the average. Okay, cost of goods sold divided by average accounts payable. Here. Close natin, enter. Okay, 13.6 times. Okay. So mamaya tingnan pa natin, no? Sa up to, mas malaki si industry, no? Okay, so let's see the implication of this. Okay, when we continue discussing this. Okay. Now, itong mga to, guys, yung I to, R to, up to, there's another way to look at this. Okay? So see, inventory turnover, kapatid yan yung DIO, yung days inventory outstanding. So this is days inventory outstanding. Lagyan natin para insert comment. So this is days inventory outstanding, or another name for that is average AIP, average inventory period. I prefer using the term days inventory outstanding. Days kasi tama yung expression na days. Okay, let's go back to our example. Okay, sabi ko, yung number of times it takes the company to convert, buy raw materials, convert to finished product, and then sell. Ito yun, ITO. Yung number of times na yan, you can look at it in terms of number of days. Okay? Ilang days to? Okay, di ba? Yung 1, 2, 3, 4.5 times, we can convert each of them. This one, itong 1 times na to, ilang araw yan? Kung alam natin, guys, yung operating period, okay, we can easily compute for how many days it takes the company to buy raw materials, convert to finished product, and then sell. Okay, and we call that the days inventory outstanding. So instead of counting the number of times, ang bibilangin natin, ito, days inventory outstanding equals how many days? Ilang days ng company does it take the company to buy the raw materials, convert to finished product, and then sell? Ilang araw yan? Okay? So ito ilang araw. Of course, pare-pareho yan, no? Kasi 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, etc. Okay? So that's a let's say a more intuitive way to look at the turnover of the inventory, no? So let's do that. And the formula is very easy lang yung formula, guys. Okay, ito. Okay. So the shortcut is kailangan alam natin yung operating days. How many days a year nag-ooperate yung company? And then we just divide it by the ITO. Di ba? Logically, ganun yung guys, no? Again here, kung 365 to, 365 days, i-divide mo lang number of times yan. Makukuha mo na kung ilang days to. Okay? So that's basic arithmetic. So, the formula here is op per days. So ang given sa atin operating days per year is 365. Now, I think sige, bigyan natin ng pangalan to, guys. Let's give this a name, op per days, no? Operating days. So dito pwede natin isulat here sa name box, op per, isang letter lang, isang ano lang dapat word, op per days. Okay, let's give it a name, op per days, enter. Okay, so this will now be, ang DIO natin will be op per days, O-P-E-R, yan, op per days, divided by ITO. Yun. Okay? Enter. 95. Okay. There. Okay, so we can see the projection, guys. We can see the say evolution of or the changes in as far as the days inventory outstanding is for the company. Noong 2019, 91 days. Ano yung 91 days? Bili ng raw material, convert to finished product, and then sell. 91 days yun, yung cycle na yun. Noong 2020, bumili sila eh. 73. No? Could it be because of the equipment na in-invest? Pwede yun kasi nag-invest ng equipment, di ba? Yung fixed assets ng company tumaas na malaki, around 3 times yata. Di ba? And yet, ang problema doon, ang bilis sila bumili ng raw materials, convert to finished product, sell, pero loss pa rin. Diba? As compared to this one, okay, 2021, bumagal pa nga lalo 95. Now, compare that with the direct competitor, 60. Houston, we have a problem. Okay? You realize, guys, we have a problem. Kasi, kung titingnan natin yung illustration natin, dito tayo 95 days, di ba? Ito, 95 days tayo nito. I-plot natin yan. Ito, 95 days to. 95 days. Si competitor natin, guys, on the 60th day nila, nabenta na nila. Okay? 60th day, baka 60th day, pinoproduce pa rin din natin eh. Di ba? So, talo tayo. Guys, talong-talo tayo ng direct competitor natin or ng industry average. No? Kasi tayo, 95 days, si competitor natin, 60 days. Okay? 60 days. And ilang beses siya ginagawa yan per year. Ito, yung ITO nila, no? 6.1 times. Benta, gawa ng raw materials, benta. One time. Second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, hanggang sixth time. Tayo, 1, 2, 3, tapos almost 4 times a year. So we really pale in comparison in terms of asset management is concerned. Talong-talo tayo, di ba? Tingnan nyo to, 60 days tayo, 95 days. Okay, and then we go to day sales outstanding. Again, guys, so yung mga days na yan, mga kapatid yan ng mga turnover. Si day sales outstanding, kapatid niyan si ARTO, Accounts Receivable Turnover. you'll just look at the formula, kinuha lang natin yung reciprocal, no? Yung operating days divided by the average accounts receivable turnover. That's easily proven naman yung formula na yan, no? So ano yung DSO? DSO, number of days, guys, ito yung ARTO natin. It takes the company after selling it, their goods to collect. Okay? Ilang araw on the average nako-collect nila on their receivables after they sell. Pagkabenta, ilang araw nako-collect. Pagkabenta, ilang araw nako-collect. So kung mas mabilis to, guys, kung mas maiksi to, ibig sabihin kung mas malaki yung ARTO, right? Kung mas ano yung ARTO, kung mas malaki, ibig sabihin mas maraming beses na gagawa sa isang taon, then it means, guys, that mas maliit yung ano natin, yung day sales outstanding. Ano ibig sabihin na mas maliit, guys? Ibig sabihin nun, mas mabilis natin nako-kolekta yung sales. Diba? Okay, day sales outstanding is equal to operating days. So, offer na naman tayo, offer days divided by yan, si ARTO. Divided by ARTO. Enter. 39. Okay. 39, 31, 37. Okay, ang best performance natin, guys, nung 2020. Kasi yung receivables natin, nako-collect natin within 31 days. Dito, 39 days tayo. But look, guys, we're not only benchmarking against time. We're benchmarking against a direct competitor. Si direct competitor in 15 days nakolekta na niya. Nakolekta na niya. Tayo maghihintay pa tayo ng 39 days bago natin makokolekta. Okay? So that has great implication as far as the operations of the company is concerned, no? Yung asset management na yan. Okay? All right. So far clear tayo, ha, guys, ha? Pause muna ako. Clear so far? Kindly chat, guys, kung kung clear so far yung ano natin, yung discussion. Kindly please. Okay, I'm waiting for the rest to give me their feedback kung okay naman so far yung ano natin, yung ito yung mga magkakapinsan, ano?
Sir, question po.
Yes, sure.
Yung pong DSO, so offer days over DIO. 4 po yung lumalabas sa akin.
Saan yung ano, DSO?
DIO. Opo, sa DSO.
DIO is operating days divided by the
Di ba pa
ITO.
DSO, offer days divided by DIO?
ITO. Yung
4 po yung lumalabas sa akin.
Offer
ITO.
days divided by C118.
Okay po. Okay, thank you.
Kasi dapat
mali po pala yung ano ko.
Denominator mo. Inventory turnover dapat, no? Okay? All right. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? Thank you, guys, for clarifying. May nag-raise pa ng hand? Sino nag-raise ng hand? Okay, wala. Okay. Thank you, guys, for your responses. Although hindi pa ako nakakakuha ng ng 100% response, no? Kasi ibig sabihin, yes, Angeline, you raise your hand.
Sir, I just want to make it clear po. Tama po ba yung pagkakarinig ko na the higher the ARTO, the lower the DSO, or the other way around po?
The higher the ARTO,
the lower the DSO, or
the higher the ARTO, tingnan natin yung formula, tingnan mo yung formula. DSO, di ba to? So you're dividing ARTO, di ba? Okay? Ibig sabihin, pag malaki yung ARTO, ano mangyayari sa DSO natin? It's offer days divided by ARTO, no? When the ARTO is bigger, ano mangyayari sa natin? Day sales outstanding. Assuming na parehong operating days let's say dalawang competitors, no? They operate both 365 days. So walang problema dun sa operating days, ano? Pareho naman eh. Yung isa mas malaking ARTO. Sino mas magaling dun, guys? Yung mas malaking ARTO o yung mas mababang ARTO? Kasi what does this measure, itong day sales outstanding? It measures the number of days the company is able to collect on their receivables. Okay. Pagkabenta, ilang araw muna bago makokolekta? Si company natin guys, si XYZ, 39 days. Si direct competitor, 15 days. Bakit? Kasi mas mataas yung R2 niya. Tinan nyo, 10.2. Tayo ang R2 natin, 9.3 lang. So assuming na pareho lang yung offer days, yung 365 days a year, they will have, ano mangyayari guys, yung DSO nila, their DSO will be lower. Why is it lower? Kasi tingnan nyo guys, yung formula natin. Operating days divided by the R2. So the bigger the R2, the lower will be your day sales outstanding. The better that will be. Bakit? Kasi konti lang yung days natin guys bago nakukolekta yung receivables. Okay, imagine kung day sales outstanding natin 365 days, ibig sabihin 1 year muna natin bago nakukolekta yung receivables. Bad yun, very very bad. No? Compared to a company, let's say 30 days yung DSO niya. Ibig sabihin, in 30 days, nakukolekta yung receivables. Si competitor, 365 days yung DSO. Naku, hindi guys nakakagulat na magsasara na yan. Kasi saan kukuha ng funding yan kung hindi nila nakukolekt yung receivables nila, di ba? Okay. Angeline, did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you
Okay,
po.
sige. I hope this is clear guys. Ha? Importanteng concept na to, no? Yung asset management. No? Especially sa manufacturing and even sa service or sa merchandising. Very important to. Kasi tinitanong nito, how is the company able to manage their assets? No? Okay, ito naman DPO. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, medyo ticklish yung ano nito, no? Yung interpretation. If we take a look at the APTO natin, 13.6, sa industry naman, 15.1. So ang tanong, mas okay ba tayo na yung up to 13.6 sila 15.1? Okay, so tingnan muna natin guys, i-link natin siya sa DPO, Days Payable Outstanding. Ano yung Days Payable Outstanding? Pinsan niya ni Apto, di ba? Si Apto ilang times a year. Okay? Si DPO, how many days yung isang cycle na nakabili na tayo ng raw materials and then babayaran na natin yung supplier natin. We were able to buy raw materials on account, pinautang tayo, tapos ilang araw muna bago natin nababayaran yun. And the formula again is offer days. So ito offer days divided by your APTO. Yan. Okay. So, okay. Compare natin guys. Nung 2019, it took us 22 days to pay our suppliers, no? 2020, 25, 27, mas tumagal. 2021, 27, medyo tumagal. Okay, so this can mean a lot ito. Bakit tumatagal yung payment? either hindi tayo nakakabayad on time, no? Mas on the average, mas tumatagal yung pagbayad natin, mas nadidelay tayo. Or pwede rin naman, medyo ini-increase ni supplier yung terms na sa atin. Kasi siguro matagal na tayo we do business with the company for a long time. So supplier is giving us a favor by increasing the time for us to pay the payable. No? So ganon. Kaso guys, if we compare it with our direct competitor, sila 90 days. Okay? 90 days. So logically guys, which is better? 90 days yung APTO o 27 days yung DPO, yung days payable outstanding o 90 days? Logically, at face value, mas maganda si 90. Okay? Kasi that means we're given a longer term. Around 3 months bago tayo magbayad ng payables natin. And as I mentioned a while ago, guys, there are some, this happens especially if a small company would like to do business with a big company. Unfortunately, some big companies would say, okay, you want to do business with us? Then we will demand that you give us credit term limits of 90 days. 90 days kasi kami talaga magbayad ng aming mga payables. E din sa maliit na company, sige, sige na lang para lang ako makakapasok, makapag-do business with ano. But however, that can lead to disastrous results, especially kung hindi mahaba yung PC ng ano. Kasi 90 days muna niya bago makukolekta yung ano. Kung yung umuutang din siya ng raw materials, tapos wala siyang terms dun sa ano, dun sa or kung may terms naman siya dun sa supplier niya mismo, kung saan siya bumibili, 10 days lang o 15 days lang. So paano iba-balance out yun? Right? So yun ang problema, no? Nagbebenta siya, hindi kagad siya hindi kagad siya the company is not able to collect immediately. But when he buys, the company buys from their own suppliers, he's given, let's say, 10 days or 15 days to pay. And yet he's able to collect in 90 days. So this can be a two-edged sword, guys, yung 90 days na to. Of course, it's good for the company that has this 90 days DPO. But guys, in a symbiotic relationship, it might be bad for the other company. Okay? All right. So we have looked at the ITO and its cousin or brother na, si DIO. Tinignan din natin, we looked at ARTO and its brother DSO. And then also AP turnover and also the DPO. So they're related. So both ways, guys, you can understand how the company is performing in terms of its operations. Okay, kung ilang beses a year nakakakolekta o ilang araw in between collections. That's what those means. Okay, now we go to operating cycle. Now this is very important. Ano yung operating cycle? It's your days inventory outstanding. How many days does it take the company to buy raw materials, convert to finished product, and then sell? And then DSO, collect. Collect. So, compute natin to. Our cash conversion cycle, or sorry, our operating cycle is 95 days for the company to buy raw materials, to convert the goods to finished goods, and then to sell, plus 39 days nila muna bago makolekta yung receivable sila. Okay? So 134. 134 days noong 2021. 104 noong 2020. Noong 2019, 128. So medyo nag-deteriorate naman sila sa asset management noong 2021. Mas maganda pa sila. The company was better off in 2020 because it only took them 104 days to finally collect on their receivables. And tinatawag natin na cash to cash cycle. Okay, let's go here. Okay. So, let's plot that again. Okay. From buying the raw materials, converting to finished goods, and then selling it, how many days, guys? That's your days inventory outstanding, 95. And then 39 yung ano, yung so this is 95 days. Days. And then, okay, from the sales to the collection, it takes them 39 days. So all in all, guys, when you add this is 134. 134 days. Okay, almost practically almost more than 1/3 of the year, no? 134 days. Okay, buy raw materials, collect cash. Okay, so that's why sometimes this is called the cash to cash cycle. Cash, naglabas ng cash dito, and then makukolekta ulit yung cash. Okay, dito na marirecover, cash to cash cycle, or this is your operating cycle. Okay, is the company performing well? 134 days. Better pa nga nung 2021 kasi 104 days. Pero, guys, ang problema, si direct competitor. Si direct competitor, 75 days lang. So, dito pa lang, guys, dito pa lang, no? 75 days dito pa lang, nakolekta na ni direct competitor. Eh tayo hindi pa nga natin nabebenta, di ba? May 20 days pa muna bago natin mabenta. Si direct competitor, na-collect na. Tayo, it will take us 95 days to sell it and another 39 days to collect on our receivables. So your operating cycle, 134 days, halos halos more than 1/3 of a year. Diba? 134 days. So si direct competitor natin, after 75 days, na-collect na niya. After 75 days again, cash to cash na yan, no? From the manufacturing, acquisition of raw materials to manufacturing down to the collection. Average 75 days. Okay, so we can see, guys, that the company relative to the industry is not performing well. In fact, guys, over the years, nag-deteriorate pa siya, no? Mas worse off pa siya compared to 2019. Lalo na mas worse off siya compared to 2020. At least in terms of operating cycle. Okay? All right. Pause muna ako, guys. Any questions so far? Clear ba tayo so far, guys? Sa discussion natin ng ng operating cycle. Okay, paki-chat please kung clear tayo, yes, or you can unmute yourself to ask if you have any questions. Okay. And please more responses please. 1/3 pa lang nagre-respond. I want to see the general sentiment of the class. Sana tayo, almost 100% ang mag-respond. Okay? So if you have questions, please feel free. If okay naman, I'll really appreciate you telling me na okay so far. Okay? A yes from you guys will be greatly appreciated. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Although hindi ko pa rin nakuha yung 100%, no? Kailan ko kaya makukuha yung 100% class? Sana malapit na, no? I hope all of you will respond to my query, especially when I ask you if you understand the lesson. All right. So we're done with the operating cycle. Now, what's this cash conversion cycle? This is another important measure. No? Tingnan nyo guys, cash conversion cycle ni industry -15. Ooh. Interesting, no? Okay, so how do you compute for the cash conversion cycle? It's your DIO plus DSO minus DPO, or this is also your operating cycle, di ba? This is your operating cycle minus operating cycle minus your days payable outstanding. Kasi DIO and DSO is your operating cycle. So we can use this. It's equal to 134, okay? 134, and then we subtract the DPO of 27. Okay. And then copy the right. Yan. Okay. Now let's interpret this. Yung cash conversion cycle na yan. So 107, 79, 106. Gawa tayo dito, no? So ano yun? 107, 79, 76. So mga figures natin, 2021 was 107. Tapos 79 yung 2020 and 107, 79, ano isa? Plus? Hello. 107 yung cash conversion cycle, 79 yung 2020, ano yung 2019?
106.
106, okay? 106. Tapos yung yung competitor, -15. Ano kaya yung cash conversion cycle na yan? So this is your cash conversion cycle. This is different from your operating cycle. Okay, let's understand what this means. Okay. So how many days does it take our company to buy raw materials, convert to finished goods, and then sell? Ilang days to? 90, di ba? Was that 90? Tapos from selling to collection, 39. Tama. So all in all, ang operating cycle natin is tama ba? 90 ba to, guys? Dali ko makalimutan.
95.
95 pala, sorry. 95 and 39. Okay. So this is 95. This is 95. This is 39. So ang operating cycle natin is 134 days. Okay. Now, we have a problem, class. Kasi ang ano natin, ang days payable outstanding kailan? Days payable outstanding natin 27. Okay? So dapat sa day 27 natin, guys, ito, day 27, after 27 days, we have to pay our payable here. Babayaran dapat yung payable dito. Kaso, asa na yung cash, guys? Wala pa, hindi dito pa yun, di ba? Dito pa natin makukolekta. Right? 134 days eh. Ang cash to cash cycle natin 134 days on the average. On the average, it takes us 27 days to pay. Okay, but where's the cash? Andito pa, guys. Andito pa siya. It's still here, no? Okay, so how do we now pay on the 27th day? How do we now pay? Okay, magsa-short term lang tayo. Okay? We have to borrow in order to pay this payable. We don't want to renege on our payable kasi mababudget tayo dun sa suppliers natin, di ba? So magbabayad tayo dito, kaso technically wala pa yung pera, dito pa natin makokollect eh. Okay? So anong gagawin natin? Short-term borrowing. Hihiram tayo dito, no? Borrow funds. Why? Because we need to pay the payable. Okay. And then what happens, guys? This is 134 days. Okay, ano to? What's this? 134 minus 27. That's your, ilan yan? 107 ba? Tama? Tama, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 107. Okay. That's your cash conversion cycle. Ano yun? Ano yung 107 na yun, guys? 107, guys, 107 days is what? Okay. 107 days. This is the number of days okay, for us to pay, okay, the loan. Okay? So 100 days natin muna bago mabayaran yung loan. Kasi dito tayo umutang, ano? Dito pa natin makukolekta yung ano natin, receivables natin. So technically, it will take us 100 days to pay the loan. Which means, guys, that the longer this is what we call the cash conversion cycle, the longer the cash conversion cycle, the greater will be the interest. Okay? Interest kasi, ang interest, guys, interest is a function, it's a function of time, no? Ibig sabihin, kung mas matagal yung ano natin, yung term natin, mas matagal natin bago mabayaran yung loan natin, syempre, mas mataas ang magiging interest natin. So this will incur, pag mataas, guys, yung cash conversion cycle, mas costly yan para sa company. Okay? It's a lot more costly for the company if their cash conversion cycle is big, is high. Kasi it will take them a longer number of days in order to pay the loan that they will have to acquire in order to pay their payables. Okay? So a very huge cash conversion cycle is indicative, guys, of a very costly financing. Okay, so ito yung number of days natin na kailangan natin ipa-finance yung loan natin. So technically, this is the number of days of financing for the loan. Okay, pause muna ako, guys. Clear yan? Paki-chat please kung clear yung explanation natin sa cash conversion cycle. Okay, good. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate your feedback. Okay. Sana 100% guys nag-feedback, no? The rest, guys. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Although hindi pa rin tayo nakaka 100% talaga, pero I'm sure darating din yung panahon na Yan. Konti na lang guys. Konti na lang yung hindi nagre-respond. No? I really hope that everyone responds to my query. Okay, tingnan natin guys yung competitor kasi very interesting yung sa competitor. Ano yung cash conversion cycle nila? Okay, negative 15. Negative 15. Paano yun? Okay, tingnan natin ha. So, operating cycle, sige tingnan natin. 60, 15, 60, 15, 90. Sige, 60, 15, 90. Ito yung ano natin. For our competitor, no? So, plot natin for us to appreciate this. For the competitor, okay, DIO 60, DSO 15, okay, DPO 90. Okay. So ano yung implication niyan? Okay. Plot natin guys for us to better appreciate what's happening here. So from the buying of the raw materials to the selling, 60 days. And then from the selling to the collection, you have 15 days. That's why our operating cycle here is 75 days. Number of days it takes the company to pay. DPO. Dito. Dito nagbabayad na sila. Ilang araw yan? Sorry. How many days it takes them to pay? Here. Dapat iniba ko yung kulay. Ano? Here. Okay. Ito yung DPO line natin and it is 90. Ito 90 days to guys. 90. And 90 to. So ano ibig sabihin yan guys? 60-15 na kolekta na yung cash dito. Kailan magbabayad ng payable? Andi dito pa. Ano to guys? This is now your cash conversion cycle negative 15. Ano implication ng negative 15? Meron pa silang 15 guys, 15 days kasi nakolekta na nila dito in order to use the cash elsewhere, no? Before paying their creditors, before paying their yung ano nila, yung sa DPO. 'Di ba? Guys? Ayun, may 15 days pa sila, negative 15. Ibig sabihin nun, may excess days sila para kung pwede pa nilang gamitin yung money. For example, kung merong short-term investment na 15 days, di ilagay lang muna nila doon kahit maliit lang yung percent na yan, di ba? Bago nila ibabayad doon sa ano, doon sa supplier. Okay? All right. Good or bad, guys? Good or bad? Itong negative na cash conversion cycle. Paki-chat nga please. I want to see your opinion. Is this a good situation or a bad situation? Okay, thank you. Yeah, generally it's good, guys. No? Generally, it's a good proposition. However, okay, ito may however na, may caveat to, ha? Okay, let's suppose you have a situation where the company, okay, is able to collect on the receivables. 30 days pa lang nakokolekta na nila, no? Ito yung ano nila guys, ito yung operating cycle nila, operating cycle. Operating cycle nila 75. Let's say dito operating cycle within 30 days. Nabenta na, tapos na-collect na, no? Yun ang operating cycle. Tapos dito nagbabayad sila sa kanilang mga ano, half a year. Sa kanilang mga suppliers, half a year. Okay, ito yung DPO nila. Their DPO is equal to 180 days. Okay, sabihin natin kalahating taon, 6 months. Therefore, okay, ano yung cash conversion cycle nila, guys? Yung cash conversion cycle nila is 30 minus 180. And it's equal to negative 150. Yan. Okay. Now, look at that, guys. Look at that. Negative 150 days. Ibig sabihin, nakolekta na nila yung cash. Tapos, meron pa silang 150 days to make use of this para i-roll over kung ano man ang pwede nalang gawin dyan. Right? Diba? Is that a very good situation, guys? Yes or no? What do you think, guys? Any answer? Anyone? Volunteer nga, guys, kung ano, kung okay ba yung situation na yan. Anong implication ng negative 150 days? Ibig sabihin nun, they have still 150 days. Nakolekta na nila nakolekta na nila yung receivables. Tapos meron pa silang practically 5 months. Kasi kung 30 days on the average per month, 30 times 5, 150. They have 5 months before they pay their payables. Okay, di ba? Ang dami nilang pwedeng gawin dyan. Basic dyan, pwede na ilagay sa short-term investment. Okay? Di ba? Okay, good or bad then, guys? So, any volunteer, any answer, guys, to that? Yes, John?
Maybe, sir, because it's too long, sir. It's bad already.
Bad for whom?
For the company, sir, since they might use the money elsewhere for like not a good purpose.
Okay, pwede rin yan. No? Pero ang assumption natin dito, prudent yung company. Our assumption is that the company is prudent enough to use the resources wisely. They could invest that in a short-term investment, di ba? To make the money grow. Papaikutin nila. Okay? So, our assumption is that prudent yung mga managers and they will not use this for nefarious or for bad means, no? Ang assumption natin, good sense yung mga managers. So, will this be good for the company, guys? Will this be good for the company kung negative 150 yung cash operating cycle natin, COC? Cash conversion
Yes.
cycle?
Yes, sir, since they can roll the money, sir, for
Yeah, they can roll the money, di ba, for other purposes. Kaso nga lang, guys, ang downside nito, yung mga suppliers nila. Okay? Kasi ang ibig sabihin niyan, kalahating taon muna nila babayaran yung mga suppliers. So, pag masyadong malaki, guys, yung cash conversion cycle, there might be a danger there, no? Endangered dan yung other side, yung kanegosyo nila, yung mga suppliers. Imagine paying your suppliers 180 days. And this is true, guys, this is true. Kasi business model ni SM to eh. That's a business model of SM. Maybe not 180 days, but relatively mga ganun, no? Matagal muna bago mabayaran yung mga suppliers. So while it's able to collect immediately, very fast, yung yung operating cycle, pero yung cash conversion cycle nila is a big negative kasi yung DPO nila, yung days payable outstanding, is quite long. It takes them long to pay their let's say suppliers, etc. So this is a double-edged sword, guys, no? Maganda to for the company. But how about the company that you're dealing business with? Lalo na kung mga maliliit yung mga companies. Kasi minsan may ang tinatawag natin na power of the customer. Kasi in this case, parang ang customer nila si SM. So since SM is very big, or for that matter other companies, no, they can exert tremendous pressure on the smaller companies. Sabi nila, sige, if you don't want that kind of a deal na 180 days muna bago namin kayo bayaran, ang terms namin 180 days, then hanap na lang kayo ng iba. So other companies, for them it's doing business with a big company like this, it's good for them. Kaso the problem is it takes the company a long time to pay. Kasi 180 days, guys, that's the meaning of days payable outstanding. Babayaran sila on the average ng company 180 days. Okay? That's the problem with that. So para sa for a company like SM in this situation, okay na okay to. Kasi 150 days muna bago nila bayaran yung before they will pay the before they will pay their customers in this regard, their suppliers. No? Okay, and then they will be paid in 30 days time. But they will pay their customers after 180 days. Therefore, a net nito negative 150. Okay, so this is a double-edged sword, no? Double-edged sword in the sense that this is very good for the company, okay, that is experiencing this, but may other side yan, di ba? There's always the other side, and it might be tremendously very difficult for the smaller companies who are in this kind of an arrangement. Imagine nakatali yung pera nyo 180 days bago kayo bayaran. Pagbenta nyo dito, kalahating taon muna guys, no? Half a year. Okay, so again guys, this is a double-edged sword. It's good for one party but not necessarily for another party. Okay, so this is a malaking question to, no? Pag ganyan kalaki na guys yung yung cash conversion cycle natin. Okay, ibig sabihin it takes you a long time to pay off your suppliers. Ang laki negative, oh. Kasi you get paid already in 30 days but you pay off your suppliers in 180 days. So meron kang 150 days na leeway pa. Okay? Na elbow room in order to work with your funds. Good for the company, but remember guys that symbiotic sana yung relationship. Okay lang sana guys yung negative na cash conversion cycle. But maybe tempered siya. Na hindi naman masyadong nagsasuffer yung mga suppliers ng company, yung mga business partners niya. Okay, because this might be a formula also for disaster. Kasi pag nag-fold up yung mga maliliit na business na to, 'di ba? Paano na lang 'yon? Okay? Paano na lang? Who will now be the in that sense the customers of the company that has this very high negative cash conversion cycle. Okay? 'Di ba? Very interesting tong concept na to. Kasi as I mentioned, yung mga malalaking companies guys, minsan ganito yung ginagawa nila. Okay, which on a isang symbiotic na aspect, medyo hindi siya maganda, no? Sana itinetemper naman tong cash conversion cycle. Okay lang naman maging negative 'yan. Okay? Which means that the company is able to collect on their receivables and then pay their payables longer. Okay lang 'yun. Pero pag ganyan nakalaki guys, almost 5 months na 'yan, then maybe something's wrong with the business model. That might not help the smaller companies, no? Okay, so very important to guys tong cash conversion cycle, no? Very important because here you can see dito naman ang cash conversion cycle naman ni company grabe naman, no? Ito sobra naman yung 107. Kasi what does this mean? What does this mean guys, yung 107 na to? Ito yung number of days that they will have to finance the payment. Kasi kailangan na lang, they need to pay already their suppliers. On the 27th day, itong DPO nila, accounts days payable outstanding, they need to pay their suppliers. Okay? Pero kailan sila nakaka-collect? Nakaka-collect sila guys 134 days. Diba? 134th day pa nila mako-collect. They need to pay already on the 27th day. So that means they will have to have this financed. They will have to borrow funds short term and then have this 107 days financed by short term borrowing. Okay, di ba? So double-edged sword to, no? Ito naman negative 15. Pag medyo malaki na guys yung cash conversion cycle, kunyari kanina negative 150, we were exaggerating our example. Okay? But ibang klase na rin yun, no? Kasi I think it's time to also look at how we do business with our customers in effect, no? Kasi payable natin yun sa customer natin. So sometimes, pag malalaki kasi, may power over the, pag maliliit yung customers, yung mga suppliers pala, may power sila over that. No? But I think the power has to be tempered in such a way that nag-grow din sana yung mga suppliers. Siyempre, suppliers are very important, no? In as far as the business is concerned. Okay, so lastly guys, tingnan natin tong FATO at saka TATO. FATO is fixed asset turnover. Ano ibig sabihin yan? So let's compute for that. FATO is sales. So that's sales over fixed assets. Ang fixed assets natin ito. Okay. And then our TATO is equal to sales. Sales over total assets. Sales over total assets. Okay. There. Okay, then maybe let's make it 1 decimal place. 1 decimal place. Okay, and then copy this to the right. So what's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of FATO, guys? It means for every 1 peso of fixed asset the company invested in, it was able to generate 8.4 pesos of sales. So the higher, the better. No? Kasi sales to okay, over the fixed assets. Okay, ito naman, TATO, it's for every 1 peso of sales, for every 1 peso of assets, total assets, how much sales is generated to 2 pesos. So in terms of FATO, in terms of fixed asset, the company even outperformed the industry kasi sa industry 7 lang yung average. Pero in terms of TATO, in terms of being able to generate sales based on the total assets, the industry average was better kasi 2.5 siya. Okay? All right, guys, it's already time. So next meeting, kung pwede guys, kung pwede, pakisagot to, no? For us to be able to cover more. So next meeting, I will just flash. Okay, andyan na naman yung formula. Okay? The formulas are there, guys. Kindly work on the formula so that next meeting we don't have to waste time on computing for this. Kasi the formula is there, you can easily compute for it. So next meeting we're going to finish this. Okay, we're going to finish also the DuPont and then the Altman Z. Now please research on the Altman Z. What does this give us? The Altman Z score tells us if a company will become bankrupt or not. Okay, so this is a very good measure. It measures, guys, kung if a company will become bankrupt or not in the next few years. All right. So, are there any questions, guys? Any questions? Was our discussion clear today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So we were able to finish up to asset management. Next meeting, guys. Again, my request is for you to compute already this. So I'll just flash the final answer, okay? And then also, of course, the plots here. Okay, I'll just flash the final answer. And I think may mali dun sa formula natin, no? Last time. Kasi I think nalagay ko dito net income after tax. It should be sales over fixed assets and sales over total assets. So just make the necessary correction. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I'll stop recording and I'll see you guys next meeting. Yes?